and I hit my first 10K plays on SoundCloud. I was like, I'm a guy. I was kind of scared to like put my music out there. Chris Brown posted me on his story. I'm looking at it while like cleaning a toilet. Drake followed me and then he posted it and my followers were just shooting up. I had like 10K by the end of that week.
What do you think makes your sound different?
We played in every club, every venue, event we went to. Just look around and everyone's trying to Shazam it.
A lot of the audience that watches this feels like they are a lone wolf in some sort of way.
I was an angry kid. Recently, last year, I found out I was adopted. I'm on my old Facebook. I guess I'm just looking over like pictures of me and I seen messages and it was from them. When I got my first check, bro, I was scared. I was so scared to even spend money. That feeling I get now just from seeing 500 people in front of me, I want that to triple, quadruple, 30,000, you know what I'm saying? 40,000, just see everyone singing my songs word for word. I just went independent.
Okay.
We're gonna start there. I was under a label for a while.
Okay.
And I just felt like it was time for, full rebrand, own my masters and just, put a lot more music out and just give people a different version of me. I think it was eras, I was creating eras with the last version and this is me now, I'm
What kind of errors were you going through? And even the difference between now being independent and before being signed, like what are some pros and cons that you're seeing now of both sides?
Yeah, being independent, it's a different game. They say it's a harder route, going the independent route, but it's sweet. I love it, man. I love what comes with it. I love the fact that you could just be free to, explore, create, and you have a vision, so you could put out more music for your fans, your consumers, the people that love your music, rather than, I guess, when you're with the label, you kind of have to have more of a plan for like the next couple of months. With being independent, you could just rapid fire,
You feel like you have more control now.
Exactly.
Over what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly, being with the label, it had pros and cons. Loved them, but I just felt like it was a different time, in my career, and I felt like I had to step back and take things into my own hands, Yeah.
Going independent for sure is harder. Like it's more on you.
Yeah.
The success is more on you.
For sure.
It might be harder to get new opportunities for sure.
For sure.
Because you don't have someone kind of feeding you them.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like that too, where I like, if I'm successful, I like having that power over it. If I'm not, and it's like my fault, then okay, it's my fault. Let's move on and let's get it going. Let's go back a bit though. You're a Toronto boy.
Yeah. Born and raised. Mississauga.
Okay, Saga.
Yeah.
Well, we won't mix that up then.
Saga City.
Saga.
Shout out Saga.
What was it like, because you're 24 years old.
24.
Still so young.
Yeah.
What was life like growing up for you in Saga?
It was fun. I was kind of gated, I would say. I grew up homeschooled.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What was that like?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christian family.
Okay.
And yeah, I had a lot of friends though, because it was a school where it was like homeschooled, but not at the same time. It was kind of
smaller,
really small, probably 30 kids.
Okay.
All the kids were like from church.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't around too many kids all the time until I started playing sports. Getting into sports, I played football, basketball, soccer. I wasn't good at those two.
I'm a soccer man.
Oh man, I sucked at soccer,
really?
Bro. I was horrible.
At least you tried, bro.
Yeah, I tried 1 year, and then they're like, "Yo, what's this big kid doing on the field right now?" I thought I was Ronaldo for real, but it didn't work out. So I played football,
Sick.
and that was going good. And I think that kind of shaped me finding my friends, finding myself. I feel like my advice for any parent is to definitely put your kids in, playing games, playing sports.
Yep.
It shapes your whole life. You gain friends.
Yeah. We say that all the time. You gotta put your kids in sports. You learn.
Have to.
I sit down with so many people in business and people that are successful in general, and so many of them come from sports.
Oh, for sure.
They learned about so many aspects of life.
For sure.
What are some things that you learned from playing sports at a young age?
Everything is a team effort. Yeah. Nothing you can do alone, no matter what you're doing. You know, a lot of times people don't realize that even with music, it's like, yeah, we're paying attention to the artist, but there's a lot of people working to help that artist behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a team sport, you know, and you have to have the right team.
Yeah.
Your team matters all the time if, you know, you want to do what you're doing best.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I learned from playing sports, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a lot that you were a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Definitely.
Now I'm kind of putting the piece together, you know, like homeschooled.
Yeah.
Not around too many people.
Yeah.
What was that like? Like, describe you being a lone wolf, because I think a lot of people resonate with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. Even in a room with 100 people, you can still feel alone.
Yeah. Honestly, I grew up different. Like, of course, with like being homeschooled and not having too much friends, not having a lot of people. I had family, of course, but you know, I just grew up in a different time, like a different way, you know, than a lot of kids did when they went to public school and had thousands of kids they see every day. I didn't really have those moments. Like, I got those moments from going to like a recreation center and playing basketball, and then I got to see, you know, kids. But yeah, man, I just felt like, you know, the lone wolf resonated with me, and it's funny because it really, you know, sometimes you align your story with something you don't even know is happening. And recently, last year, you know, I found out I was adopted.
Big shout out to our family at Minting, Canada's top spot for sports cards, trading cards, collectibles, and live hobby experiences. If you're just getting started or you're already deep in the game, they've got it all. Retail packs, high-end boxes, grading, supplies, and they even do daily live shows. Me and Anth actually have started building our own collection. We're stacking Ronaldo cards, grabbing some Funkos, and ripping whatever we got the itch for. You can shop online or roll to their store in Vaughan to rip, trade, and hit up their bi-weekly trade nights. Hit the link in our description below. Use the code MBH5 at checkout for a little bonus from the boys. Big love for Minting for backing the pod and keeping the hobby scene alive in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Stop.
Last year, March.
So how did you find that out?
Man, my younger sister, she's like my blood, like my actual blood sister.
Okay.
She knew, and she didn't tell me.
She knew the whole time?
She knew the whole time, and she didn't tell me, and she never told me, and I don't blame her because that's not really her place. But she never told me, and then eventually, like, we're goofs. Like, we laugh, we joke around all the time. So I guess one time she was just like, you know we're adopted, right? And I'm like, at first I just kept saying, shut up, man, you know? And then eventually I was on the phone with my managers, and we were just all talking. I don't even know how this came up, but the conversation was just like, you know, you don't look exactly like the rest of your family. And I was like, and then as I said that, my sister was like right there, like she was right there, and she was just like, because we're not. And I was like, you're dead serious? She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's crazy.
So your sister's older than you?
She's younger. She's a
younger.
year younger.
So you were both adopted?
Both adopted. Yeah.
And
into a family.
I guess you never really looked around your fam and thought like, oh,
No. Like, and it's crazy because I would go to, you know, like my other family's side when I was young, but it stopped when I started getting older. And I never thought much of it. You know, you're a kid sometimes, you just, that's grandpa, that's grandma. I didn't really think much of it. And yeah, she knew. I didn't know. But when I found out, I was like, wow, that's crazy, right?
How did that affect you? Like, did you take it negatively? Did you take it like in a way where it's like, oh, it's whatever?
Nah, honestly, it was like, I think for the first while of like knowing, I was like, damn. Like, cause you watch TV, you watch movies, you see stories like that all the time on television.
Yeah.
So you're like, you never think shit like that happens to you for real, right? So, you know, when it did happen, it was just one of those moments I took like a step back and was just looking at everything, and I'm like, honestly, everything happens for a reason. And God always has a plan, you know? So I feel like I was right where I needed to be, honestly. And I took it for what it is. Some people would take that information as something that holds them back, or they feel like that's them now.
Yeah.
You know, they align their story as, oh, I'm an adopted child, like everyone's gotta give me handouts or have sympathy for me. But I didn't really take it like that. You know, it's just, it is what it is.
I think people even would like be mad about the people around them not telling them. I think that would be the first thing where I'd be like, yo, like what?
For sure. Oh, I had that. Like,
when were you guys gonna?
I had that frustration at first,
Yeah.
but then I just sat back. I was like, I can't be mad. Like this is the family that took me in.
Yeah.
And they were brave enough to, and you know, they didn't tell me for their obvious reasons. They had their points, and everyone has different perspective. You know, sometimes you don't feel like you should tell someone because it might change the trajectory of what they do in their life. You know, some people hear some news like that and it could break them. You know,
They can go down a spiral, bro.
Yeah, so I'm actually really happy I heard it the way I did and the time I did.
Too,
yeah, and the age I did.
I think maybe if you were younger,
I would have been.
You would have taken it differently.
Man, I was an angry kid. I don't know. I would have definitely taken it different.
Yeah.
You know, I was someone that was just always angry when I was younger. But
Really?
But I learned that changed. You know, as I grew up, I wasn't as angry. Things didn't bother me as easy. But when I was younger, things bothered me a lot easier. Like, I was in a lot of fights.
Really?
You know, for someone that was in homeschool.
I was gonna say, like, who even funny?
It was
the 20 kids.
the 20 kids, man. There wasn't enough space, you know.
Yeah,
so people just piss me off sometimes. You know.
Did you ever think, like, did you ever wonder why you were kind of angry?
No, I never wondered, but now I get it. Like, hearing the story about like who my real father was. You know, he was abusive to like my real biological mother. So I get, like, I feel like, you know, maybe a part of that was in me as a kid. Like, just, you know, your parents are a reflection of
course, that's your DNA.
Yeah, right? So, you know, but we cleaned that part up.
Yeah.
You know, you're not as angry and I'm chilling.
You learned the hard way, or what?
Yeah,
You learned the
I'm
hard
chilling.
way sometimes?
Yeah, you know.
No, because I was going to ask about, like, are you wondering now about your real parents? I guess you found out more information about them.
Yeah.
Like, when were you adopted? Like, at what age, do you know?
Yeah, you know, I actually haven't fully dove into learning everything. It's funny because even when I heard about it, I didn't right away just like jump at it and be like, oh, I need to know who these people are. I was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
If they didn't want me, I'm chilling. You know,
It's a lot
like,
to take in, right?
It
away.
is, right? So I was like, let me just take it, you know, slow. And again, things happen, you know, how it's supposed to, because it was just randomly, you know, one day I was just scrolling. I swear, bro, I don't use Facebook. I was just scrolling. I'm on my old Facebook. I guess I'm just looking over, like, pictures of me, and right? And then I seen messages, and it was from them. Like, years back, though. Like, probably like 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and then I told my mom.
Yeah, you're about 18, 19 at that point.
Yeah, I was like 19. And they were messaging me. And then I went through their page. I was like, damn, that's crazy. You know? But, yeah, I just left it there, though, man, because I just felt like, you know, that I'd be picking up a place that I wasn't supposed to be at. So.
Yeah, because you even mentioned it, like, you see in the movies and you see in TV shows, you know,
for sure.
adoption and stuff like that, and then the kid for the rest of their life is trying to find or just know more about what happened.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when they do find out, they're like, oh, I wish I never even knew that.
Yeah. Sometimes what you don't know won't hurt you, bro.
That's facts.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, because it's funny, like, as much as my sister knew, she wasn't up to date of knowing. So when I even found that out and then brought it to her attention, like, you know, she was really sad at first. And then I had to talk to her. I'm like, yo, that's not, it is what it is. That's not a part of you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't make it hurt you to the point where you're like, oh, like, now you have resentment, or, you know, you change what you're doing in your life, you know, just keep going. So, yeah, some people definitely, it would be better to not know, but.
Does that give you, like, a different kind of motivation now at all? Does that
sure.
fire you up at all? Like a chip
sure.
on your shoulder kind of vibe?
1,000%, man.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, it was just another wake up call as like, okay, what I'm doing is this is right. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. You know, it was another moment where I was like, yeah, you got to keep going, you know, just to not only prove to anyone else, but prove to yourself you got it, you know? So.
I think you're being very mature the way you're taking it straight up.
Yeah,
know?
Man.
And again, for your age, that's not easy to do.
No.
And going back to kind of like being that lone wolf, again, because I think a lot of the audience that watches this feels like they are a lone wolf in some sort of way.
For sure.
More than ever, like now in the world with the way it is.
Shout out to my lone wolves, man.
Right? So how were you channeling that? Because getting lonely can also be very negative in life. Sure. I started looking at it as a positive. Like I actually, there was a part of my life where I enjoyed being alone.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
How were you channeling that?
Yeah, you know, I'm someone like that too. I'm someone that likes to deal with all my problems alone. And I don't usually like come front and tell anyone if I'm going through something crazy. Like I usually just deal with it, or I let, you know, God figure it out. But as of recently, I think I kind of just like set my goal as, you know, being more effective with my time, you know, even when I'm lonely. Okay. And not just letting time waste, because I realized it's like there's really 24 hours in a day. So, you know, you got to use it. A lot of times we get comfortable, or we just sit down and we let time fly by, and then we're like, it's not enough time in the day, but there really is. You know, you just got to use it. So I feel like that's where I kind of been channeling things to lately. You know?
So just using your time more efficiently.
Yeah.
Because you could be like lonely and purposeful with your time.
Exactly.
Or lonely and just like, you know, doom scrolling TikTok and watching TV.
Scrolling for hours.
Yeah. So
you're not doing anything.
You kind of changed that recently, you're saying?
Yeah. Like I've gotten a lot better at it. You know, of course I work hard. I always worked hard, and I always, you know, was someone that grinded, but just recently I've been more on it. You know, letting myself know, like, okay, time is going by. Like, let's not just be on your phone scrolling. Let's do something, like, productive, you know? Regardless, have something, a set plan, have a set schedule of what you got to do. And, I think, you know, you see a lot of progress when you're doing it.
For sure. I think to be able to do that, because someone might be watching and saying, well, you know what? Yeah, I want to be more efficient with my time. I want to use it wisely.
For sure.
But I don't really have shit to do. Like I don't really have purpose. You know, like that's a whole other thing. Where it's like finding the purpose to use that time, which I want to talk about. But before we get there, you mentioned God, you mentioned your faith a lot.
For sure.
How has that impacted you up to this point in your life?
In every way, man. In every way. I think, you know, it's good to keep a belief in your life. You know, it's good to keep God in your life. It sets good boundaries. It sets good, you know, morals, and you know, it just keeps you humble. And, you know, just lets you know that you're not above anyone, you know. No matter how big you are, no matter how big of a celebrity you are, you know. The world could love you, but you're not better than no one, you know. Everyone has their own stories. So I feel like, you know, God is the place of peace and the place where, you know, I keep boundaries and my morals. So,
that's amazing, because especially the world you're in too, like shit can get to your head pretty quickly.
For sure.
And if you don't have something like faith of some sort,
for sure,
you could go off the rails pretty quick.
For sure, man. You see it all. You definitely.
I'm sure you've seen a bunch of it now recently, but I think people need God more than ever right now. Like,
for sure. For sure. This is the time. This is the time you should.
People saying God's coming back soon. I hope so. Like,
I know.
Okay, so did you have any dreams for yourself as a kid or as a teenager? Like, were you dreaming about becoming someone in particular? How did you look at money? Like, was money a factor there where it's like, yo, I need to make sure I make, because people dream about different stuff, right? Like, they're like, okay, I dream I'm gonna have a beautiful family one day. Maybe that's not too revolved around money and making money. Some people are just like, yo, I want to be rich. And I like, maybe it's something they missed in their life, right? Like where they saw it growing up.
For sure.
So what was that like for you? What were you dreaming of as a young kid, as a teenager? And what was really driving you or motivating you to start achieving that?
Honestly, when I was young, I don't even think music was in sight.
Wow.
It was football. I was like the biggest football addict there is. Like I would watch all the Tavon Austin highlights on YouTube and just everything. Like I would go down the catalog, watch everyone's highlights, buy all the gear to look fly. I was that kid. Like I was the kid that wore the extra gear, to look fly.
Yeah.
The pictures, the highlights, they're all up there.
Sick.
The world can see. But yeah, my dream, honestly, when I was younger, was football and going in the NFL. And that didn't happen, but it happened. It didn't happen for a reason. And it shifted to music, and I don't regret it. I love making music. I love the feeling it's giving people. I love the feeling that I get from making it and performing.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, but my dreams, it was obviously wealth.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be wealthy, and wealthy in many things. Money, your spirit clean, and having a good life, a good home, a good family, just wealth all around. So that was my dream.
So why does football not happen? Was there a moment? Was there an injury? Like,
yeah, that storyline everyone gives when they're older. Oh, I got injured. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
if it wasn't for my knee,
if it wasn't for my knee, man, I would have been on TV every Sunday. But I guess around 16 was my last year.
Okay.
I was good, but I ended up like tearing my Achilles.
Damn.
Last game of the season too. It was messed up how it happened. Like it wasn't even a play where I was involved. I was just standing there and a guy fell on my leg, and he was like probably like 400 pounds. And he landed on my leg. I could have sworn I heard a snap. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
And I got up, and luckily, I was blessed where they said it was just the Achilles. But after that happened, I think I was kind of just like, I've never been injured before. I was always doing the injuring. I was the big guy. So when I got injured, I was like, I'm okay. And I stopped playing. And, that's kind of what happened. So
what was that like for you to have to bounce back and you're kind of like a clean slate now where you're like, for maybe years you're like football.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people go through that in life where there's a big change that has to be made. So how do you bounce back from that? And how do you eventually start getting into now music?
Yeah, so after football ended, for a while, it's crazy because you never think that you could fall out of love with something, right? So I kind of fell out of love with it. And then I was just working, I was working, regular job.
Okay.
And eventually the people I started like playing basketball with at the recreational center, I was like, oh, I could sing, man. I would always be like, I could sing. And
you just always thought that?
Yeah. They'd be like, yo, shut up, man. Sing something. I'd be like, all right, bet. And I sung like a Bryson Tiller song.
Okay.
Shout out Bryson. He was the one that actually, inspired me. But I sang a Bryson Tiller song, and they recorded it, I remember. And I actually had it, like I posted it in years later when I started, and everything was going good. I posted it, and everyone was like, oh, that's crazy. I was like 15, 16.
Okay.
And, a couple of them laughed it off. One of my homeboys, the main one that, that's my homie, he was like, yo, let's go to the studio.
Damn.
Let's do a studio session. I was like, all right, bet, let's do it, for fun. And then we went to Brampton, and, that was the first time I recorded. And it sounded horrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was that first studio session?
It sounded horrible.
But at that point in your head, you're not really thinking, oh, I'm about to do this.
Not at all.
You're just like, all right, my boy said, let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday night. What
exactly.
And
I was playing those songs to myself. Nobody was hearing those. I don't know where they are. It's never coming out. The world will never find it. I hope they don't. But it was horrible. And then after that, I kind of just fell in love with it. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, and I was doing it for fun.
What did you fall in love with? Like, what was the part you fell in love with?
Hearing it back and that feeling of, oh, this is sick. Like, I could do this. I never really went to a studio, so I would only sing live, in a choir, and things like that. But I never heard it back on an actual track. So when I heard it on the track, I was like, oh, okay, this is sick. At the time, I thought it was the craziest.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was gone. That was it.
Like, that's it.
That's
Blow
it.
up time.
One song, I'm
Yep,
out.
yep.
And then, yeah, that's what happened. I kind of got into it, the groove into it, and then I started going to the studio often, and then it became a thing.
So you're still working your jobs,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're still.
Oh, yeah, I was still
and you're
working.
like, okay, in the evenings I'll go to the studio.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, nighttime.
And now you're actually thinking, okay, if I keep doing this, something could come from this.
Yeah, for sure. When I started really putting it out and gaining traction, and then I was like, oh, okay. I'm
So you're
seeing.
putting this stuff out right away.
I not right away.
Okay.
A couple, probably 2 years later, 3 years later.
2 years in
maybe.
the studio and you didn't put anything
I
out.
wasn't putting nothing out.
Was there a
And
reason
then-
for that?
Yeah. I didn't. Actually, the main reason when I think about it was, my mother. She, of course, Christian, everything like that. So she wasn't too fond of it. And when I was younger, it was like, I didn't have the freedom. I was kind of scared to like put my music out there. And then I started doing it, and it gained traction. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna, continue with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're here. So
I think a lot of people go through that where they're like, it's a parent or someone they don't want to
Oh,
let
yeah.
down, they just don't want to
Yeah.
let them down, or they have like
Yeah.
traditional parents, like you said, Christian family,
exactly
whatever it might
traditional.
be.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. Those first couple of years when you didn't put anything out, what was the support like around, like friends, family? You mentioned
Yeah.
your mom, obviously.
Yeah. It was good. I think, my boy now that I work with 24/7 is actually my producer now. Because he made sure he learned to like get in the field of producing, so he can make beats for me, and we're like by side. He was the one that actually a lot of times would push. I would call him whenever I'm discouraged and be like, man, I want to quit this. And he was always the one that was like, yo, keep going, man. Something's gonna come out of it.
Yeah.
And then that was really my support though. And then others, I was putting it on SoundCloud
Okay.
for a long time. That was actually where I started, SoundCloud. Yeah, and I hit my first 10K plays on SoundCloud. I was like, I'm a guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I'm
Yeah.
a guy
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And then, I ended up putting it on all platforms. It was going smooth, and then man, we here. So
Of course. I think to do something for 2 years like that, and I mean, you weren't really making money. Like, you weren't.
no,
Like, to
not
do
at
something
all.
for
I
2
was
years
putting
and not-
money in.
Yeah, you're putting
Yeah.
money in, right? So to not see anything come from it, like, a lot of people would have just stopped.
for sure,
Like, that,
for sure.
right? And so you attested to, like, maybe your boy that was with you, and he was like, nah,
Yeah.
he saw something in you, clearly, right?
Yeah, no, I was going broke for it. I was definitely going broke for
I think
money.
you have to go broke for. I think
Yeah.
that's like, if you're not, then you're like, you have to invest everything into it at that
Yeah,
point.
that's what I always say too to anyone who wants to start. It's like either give your all or don't start at all.
Yeah.
You can't half-ass it. You can't be like, in and out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
You got to be both feet in.
Yeah.
So I was giving it my all. I was paying for blogs. I was paying for everything and making sure I was showing, my face was showing, and people were seeing me and hearing the music, and the results came in, and
Yeah.
So
And what were you learning as a music artist at that point? Like, just about your sound in general,
yeah,
having some sort of fan base too at that
Yeah.
point. Like, your 10K plays, you're like, damn, like,
yeah.
that's pretty
sure.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I was lit, man. I thought I was, I thought I was about to do arenas, with those 10K plays.
Uh-huh.
But no, I think it was good because I crafted my sound, and it gave me time too to build brick by brick, and I like building brick by brick. A lot of people say they want it fast, but it's not the best way
No.
to build because you don't have any structure.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the fact that I've just been doing it, and people see the work ethic being put in, and you constantly being consistent,
Yeah.
it gives you a better structure and a better fan base. It builds, trust within your fans as well, So, yeah, I think the best way is a slow burn, honestly.
We've been saying that too, because it's like, you could have blown up in from one track, let's say
For sure.
one track,
For
right,
sure.
and a million followers next day, right?
A
But
lot of
that's when
people
shit
do.
starts getting to your head.
Yeah.
You're not as
They're not
humble as you
prepared.
should be. Yep. There's
Yeah.
maybe some lessons that you missed out on learning,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Was there any hard lessons that you learned in those 2 years?
Man, I think just to sometimes not always look at the numbers and don't let it discourage you. I think the me now compared to when I started is a very big difference
Okay.
because I don't really let numbers discourage me. If it doesn't work this time, it's going to work the next time.
Yeah.
If not that time, the next time. Before it was like, that's why I would call him and be like, hey, I'm going to quit.
Because the numbers.
Because it didn't work that time,
Yeah.
But I got over that hump. And I think, I just don't feel like I was even prepared or ready to
Yeah.
be at the star level,
It's true.
And looking back, I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm
Yeah.
glad I have this time to, process everything, learn everything, gain knowledge from it. And now I feel like I'm in a place comfortable where I know what I need to know to
Yeah.
be where I gotta go,
Yeah.
So,
And was there anyone musically inspiring you at that point? Like, was there anyone, you mentioned Bryson obviously earlier on, but was there anyone else, especially from, I guess, Toronto, because, there's so much talent that comes out of Toronto.
for sure.
A lot of underrated artists too.
For sure.
So who was inspiring you at that point?
Man, I think Toronto there's so much inspiration with Toronto. There's so much places you could look because, man, we got the best artists. Like, straight up, man, we got the best artists in the world. A lot of the people, a lot of the peers now that I've actually came across, worked with, and toured with are people I looked up to. Party, Tory, Drake, and shout out, just anyone else out there that's been cooking up in Toronto. But a lot of those people that I looked up to are definitely the reason for a lot of my success.
And as an artist, were you trying to sound like other people? Did you notice that you sounded like others?
No, honestly, never. It wasn't even a thing where I try to sound like anyone. I guess when you're so influenced and you listen to something 24/7 and you end up going in the studio and that's what you might make because you're so influenced by it.
Yeah.
And then, everyone's going to have comparisons. You always have comparisons. But I think what matters is having it in your own way.
Yeah.
What makes you distinct from them, even if you're using some of their abilities that you've learned.
Yeah.
So I always put it in my own way. I get inspirations. I listen to music all the time, and when I hear it, I'll be inspired, but I'll go put it in my own twist, So, I don't feel like it's purposely, but I think, it'll happen.
Because there's artists that be like, no, like, I don't want to be compared, or I don't sound like that, or like, because they want to have their own sound, right?
For sure.
And listening to your music, you do have your own sound.
For sure.
I would say that. What do you think makes your sound different?
Just me, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times how people portray themselves, how people go about life, how their daily life goes into their sound. So if you're trying to portray someone else, if you're trying to be someone else, your music's going to sound like someone else.
You'll see that.
So, fans can tell a fraud, man. They can tell when a guy's trying to fake it or funk it or trying to be someone that he's not. So I just keep it real, man. I just do me, be myself. If people compare me, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
they're comparing you to big, huge names.
It's usually big names.
Yeah.
So I always, I say thank you. I appreciate that because if it was like, oh, you sound like this guy that gets 20 plays, then I'd be like, oh,
be like, yo, chill.
damn, but it's never that. So I can't complain. Can't complain.
So let's talk about Old Ways.
Yeah.
Was that the first big level up, let's say, in your music career?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was just the kicker. That was the starter of everything.
Did you see it coming?
I saw it, but didn't at the same time. Like, of course, You know, when you have dreams, you're telling yourself it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But when it actually does, you're like, oh shoot, it's here.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a moment that was not a surprise, but still a shock
Okay.
when it did happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm grateful for it.
Do you believe in like manifestation and
1000%.
that, do you feel like you manifested that moment?
Yeah, I think so. Because honestly, before the song came out, I had the song. I was sitting on that song for about a year,
Okay.
and it wasn't even like we didn't want to drop it. It was just, of course, we were going through music industry things at the time, and we would play it everywhere, man. We'd play it in every club, every venue, event we went to. Just look around, and everyone's trying to Shazam it.
It's a banger.
And I'm like, it's not out yet. Don't worry, it's
Yeah.
coming. I'd get a couple of angry folks, you know, yelling at me.
Yo, release that.
Yeah, you know. And yeah, I manifested it. I think the whole team did. Honestly, we were all like, yo, this is it. This song's gonna do what it has to do,
Yeah.
and it did. You know, it
Yeah.
changed everything. It earned respect, and that's what I was always looking for when I was coming up. Like, how do I gain people's respect? Like,
True.
I'm sick, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
nice, you know, so they gotta respect it. And I feel like that was the song, you know, that really made everyone be like, okay, this guy, he's got it, you know. So yeah,
Were you signed at that time?
I was.
So you were under a label.
Yeah, I was under Columbia Records.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that takes off, and then how does life change for you at that point? Because you're I guess you're signed, so you're already making money. You've been able to start making money as an artist.
Yeah, and
might not be the craziest
yes
money,
and
but-
no, yes and no.
Okay, explain that.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. There's definitely sides to it. I think my advice, you know, going into it, of course, another learning thing in my career, which I don't regret because you take the risk, you learn, but is, man, don't go with anyone until
Really?
you really take off,
Yeah.
you know, and when you do, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. There's going to be so much opportunities out there that you have to turn them down, you know? So I think it was crazy because, you know, people at the own firm that I was signed to were reaching out to me. They didn't even know I was with them.
Oh my God.
So, you know, because I was a nobody, bro.
Yeah.
I had like probably 2,000 followers when that song came out, and we didn't promote it at all. We just put it out. We just said out now, SoundCloud, you know, 100K first week. We're like, oh, shit, you know? So, but I would say, you know, the money and everything was something that came later down.
Okay.
But at the start, no, I wouldn't say, you know, we were seeing much. But it's a learning process. It's a learning, you know, game that I went through. But it happened, and I don't regret it because I feel like, you know, if I didn't go that route, who knows? You
For
know,
sure.
what would have happened, you know? So
Well, I think, you know, as in that space, especially in music,
Yeah.
like when someone offers you a deal to sign you,
for sure.
and you know 2,000 followers, you're like, okay, like, yo, can I
Yeah.
really say no to this?
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
Like, did you feel that too?
For sure, man.
You're like, I kind
think-
of have to take this deal.
Yeah, it wasn't even, you know, like I have to. I think it was I was smart enough to know that money isn't everything in the industry all the time. Sometimes, you know, your connection and the opportunities are bigger than the price, you know, on a piece of paper. A lot of people turn down deals and then they're in a horrible place,
Yeah.
you know, because they didn't want to take that risk. And it's funny because when I actually, before even signing, I remember calling that same friend and I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm gonna be a contract killer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we gonna get out of this deal.
Yeah.
We gonna take it for what it is. We gonna, you know, use all the connections we can and you know, build off of it. And one thing you can't take back is your success. No one can take back your success, you know? So once you build connections and you grow, no matter what situation you grew in,
Yeah.
it's still there. So now you just gotta figure that out, and we figured it out. So
Yeah.
you know,
So let's talk about how you figured that out then, because
Yeah.
you obviously get a lot of momentum off that track,
for sure.
and now you're talking about, you know, let's build our own connections, and momentum's huge in
Oh,
music,
for sure.
obviously.
It is everything.
Right?
It's
Like,
everything.
once something big happens, it's like, how are we gonna now take this as leverage and
Yeah.
open up as many doors as we can?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you were able to build off that momentum.
Yeah. I think it put me in a lot of places, a lot of great places. Met a lot of great people that I know now,
Yeah.
that I'm connected with now, and work with. And, we've been going on tours, and yeah, we've taken it to the fullest, and there's always room for improvement. So, that's kind of where we feel like we're going to be now with, being newly independent, of just improving all of those connections and using it. Because I think sometimes what happens too when you're under a label is you yourself can get lazy under
True.
being under someone, because now you're just like, oh, they'll take care
You're
of
just
it.
relying on them.
Yeah, they'll take care of it. Let me not reach out to people.
Yeah.
Let me not try to build my own connections. The label will do that. But you should never really take that approach. You should always try to build your own connection, build your own, relationships with people and people that you can work with. So I think that's something, I've learned to do a lot more now. Is just realize, I can, I know these guys, I can talk to them, I can work with them, let me reach out, why not, So, but I do think, that song was it was a door opener for sure. Put us in a lot of rooms, a lot of places, a lot of huge artists that, paid respect and was like, you're the next one, So it was a great feeling, seeing everyone that you watched and you're like, it's crazy, I'm with these guys now. It's like, and it's not just, I'm with them, it's I'm respected.
Yes. It's two different things.
Two different things. You can be in a room with them and you could be, the one that's meant to be in the room with them. So, it finally became I was meant to be there, and it felt good, man. It felt good for sure.
Do you remember maybe the first room that you went in like that? That you're like, damn, this guy's here with me, and like you said, I'm not only just here chilling.
Yeah.
He's showing respect.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them, but I definitely would say I think when I was at Future's release party for I Never Liked You, that album he dropped, and I was there, and then Old Ways played, and I remember he was like, bet, like he looked at my guy, that I was with, and he was like, yo, bet your all on him.
Wow.
That's you gotta put all your money into him. This is the guy, and he was just singing it, and I was like, this is crazy. That was a moment of shock where I'm like, okay, this is real life. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of moments that's definitely been just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you eventually get out of that deal?
Yeah.
Right, you get out of that deal, and did you perform yet up until then?
As in like shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did shows. I toured with Key Glock. That was my first tour.
How was that?
Sick.
Because I know you mentioned, I was reading up, and performance is a big thing for you. Like performing is big for you.
I love performing.
You're mentioning like obviously Drizzy, Travis Scott, big names that they're performers as well. It's almost about it's like half the music, half the performance.
Oh, for sure. And their ability of changing the way a song feels when it performs compared to when you're listening to it is what I've taken into how I, perform, because I would say Key Glock was one of those moments where, a lot of people were like, how are you going to do Key Glock? Your music isn't as rageful.
And you're pretty like chill guy. Like
chill, right?
Yeah.
Nah, man, not on stage, man. Not on stage,
so you get, like,
my brother.
New persona on
stage. For sure, man. That's a different version of me. Like, I just lock in. It's I don't know what happens, but yeah. I go on a stage and my plan is to just kill it.
How do you flip the switch like that?
Man, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think it's a mindset. You just got to really be like, okay, showtime.
Yeah.
Let's give them a show. Let's make everyone in here remember what you did and remember your name, I think your performance can build your fans, and I've actually got a lot of fans just from performing, a lot of fans from like my performances reach out to me when I'm done. I see plenty of DMs, plenty of messages, and they're like, yo, your performance made me a fan. you know, and that's a great feeling. You know, you don't want to be the guy that people paid their tickets for and they didn't get to see a good show. So it's a great feeling, right?
You're an entertainer at the end of the day too. In
Exactly.
that respect, right?
Yeah.
So you go on tour with Key Glock.
Yeah.
That's like the first, I guess, big name
That was the first one, yeah.
that you're attached to at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And two questions: what did you learn from him, being around him and being on tour with him?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that tour change your career again?
He's a hustler, man. Mm-hmm. You know, I think I realized that, you know, the grind, you got to go a lot harder, you know. And you can't ever feel too big to do smaller venues too, you know, because we did some smaller venues where it was some real fans of his, and I even took that and was like, you know what, when I start really doing my own shows, I would love to do smaller venues too, where, you know, it's a secure place of just the serious, even if it's 80 people.
Your super loyal audience.
My super loyal audience, you know, because it really makes them be like, I was there, you know, and I think that's what I loved about it. I felt like before it started, I thought the venues would probably be even way bigger, but it was, when I seen it, I was like, it makes sense, you know, these are his real loyal fans, and yeah, it was a moment, honestly, and I also learned how to traject when, you know, people are bored, or because, you know, as an opener, they're not coming to see you, so
It's true.
your job's even harder than the person that's performing, you know, and they actually bought tickets for, because you have to put on a show for them. They don't care if Key Glock came on and just waved the mic for 30 minutes. They're going to be like, I love this guy, right? So, you know, I took it upon myself to make sure all of those 30 minutes I performed, taking 30 minutes, by the way, was my first sets. Like, that's not normal. A lot of people do 12, 15. My first set for all of tour was 30 minutes. So I was doing my whole entire album at the time, Different Breed. And, yeah, for 30 minutes I had to make them believe. So
That's pressure, though.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we did it. We did it, man.
And people don't look at it that, like you said, your opener, and like they didn't buy tickets for you.
No.
Now you're there. You're like, okay, well, look at me. Like, trust me. Like,
Yeah,
you're
trust
like me too.
I'm gonna entertain you guys.
Right?
You know.
But I think going back to it too, like you mentioned, the slow burn.
Yeah.
And that's why you enjoyed those small rooms.
For sure.
Because if you just blew up from like 6 months, you would have been in there like, yo, I'm too good for this small ass room.
For sure.
Right?
You know, your head's clouded. You don't even know the feeling.
Yeah.
You don't know what it feels like to actually grow and see 100 fans become 500, and, you know, the 500 become 1,000. You've never done those type of shows, so you just climb the ladder so fast that you don't know what, you know, being humble is. You don't know.
Being grateful, bro.
Yeah, being grateful.
Yeah.
You know?
So that tour happens. How are you now using that as momentum to get you to the next? Because I know you opened for Party Next Door eventually.
Yep.
Does that come next?
That was the year after, yeah.
Okay.
That was next. That was the next tour, yeah.
So what are you doing in between in that year?
Man, we were dropping singles, and I remember I was trying to work on an album that didn't end up coming out, but yeah, we were dropping singles, putting out music, just grinding, and then the call came, you know, to do that, and yeah, you know, it's funny because, you know, there was history already there with Party and his team. You know, they were the first, actually, like, his manager was the first to ever reach out to me when I started. And then nothing really came out of it. And it was funny. At the time, I was down about it. But then when I look back, I'm like, again, I wasn't ready. And I'm happy it didn't happen. But then it's when we got on tour, I remember seeing him and I was just like, I'm here, you know? Yeah. And he was laughing. He was like, that's crazy, you know? And, yeah, that tour was an experience, man. That tour was something, because that was more of my realm, you know? True. That was like, I was comfortable. Like, I didn't have to go on there and, you know, rage or make the fans, you know, feel me. They felt me, you know. I
You
was
think it's
singing.
like because a similar sound you're saying?
Exactly.
with
You
PNB.
know, it was a similar sound,
If they
similar
like him, they're gonna
realm.
like me.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, it's like this is Toronto.
Yep.
You know, we're both from Mississauga, so it's like I'm giving you guys exactly what he's gonna come and give you. You know, so it's not too far off from what they already like.
Yeah.
So that's why I had so much fun on that tour.
Did he give you any advice at all, or did he speak to you about
Yeah,
what you got
man.
going on?
He was just like saying from the first show I did, he was like, "You got it. I see a star." Like, he's like, "You're not shy. You're comfortable. You know, you take the moment for what it is."
Yeah.
And he's like, "If anyone's ready, you're ready." You know, and that was when I was like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
it's sick. It's sick to hear it from someone that, you know, has done so much in their career and that you respect as someone you could take advice from, you know. So, yeah, it was a special moment.
I think he's someone that also stays true to his sound.
Yeah.
You know, over time, he's
Exactly.
always stayed true to his sound, and
Yeah,
I feel like you're doing the same.
for sure.
Have you ever been? Was there ever a moment where there was an opportunity for you that might have led you off your true self that you could have taken? Maybe, you know, because of the money, because of it was a big. Was there any moment like that where?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, reason why is because I feel it already worked.
Okay.
You know, I think a lot of times people try to change what's not working. So if they see it's already working, they don't really try to
True.
change that.
True.
You know, unless it's one of those where usually the artist feels like they want to venture off into something different, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, why not? You can do it." You know, as far as like people like The Weeknd who started off different, and then now he does more of the pop sound and the house music because he can. So why not, right?
Yeah.
But it was never really a moment, you know, that people try to completely shift my sound, maybe shift how I record.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I will stick to
But like,
that.
what about your record? Like, what about it?
You know, I make a lot of music. Like I've made like 12 songs in a night of like a 6-hour session.
Damn.
Yeah, and it will be all like freestyles.
Okay.
You know, so it's like you know, that's how I work. You
What
can't.
are people saying? Like, take it slower. Like,
They'll be
you know,
like, "Oh no,
work on one
freestyle."
track a night
yeah,
or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
Work on one track. Focus on the one track forever.
I guess you just have that energy where you're just like, yo, once I'm
I just
going,
gotta keep going.
Once I'm going.
Yeah, I got like when I feel it, I gotta keep going. Like
Yep.
it doesn't take long, you know, for me to find melodies. That's one thing about my recording process. The melodies they come so easy to me. So I'll sometimes just load up 7 different beats and I'll just do all the melodies and skip, go to the next, do the melodies. There's not even words. It's just I did melodies for all 7. And it's like we already know the song is a smash just from the melody because that's 99% of the song. You know, people remember a melody before a lyric. A lot of the songs that are big,
Because they're
big.
humming. They're
Something you could hum,
Yeah.
something you could be in the kitchen cooking and you just remember that melody is playing in your head
Yeah.
rather than a word that was said. So, yeah, I always focus on melodies.
True.
That's my process.
So after those 2 tours, how do you feel you were changing as an artist, or even just as a person? Like, what were you learning even about yourself at that point?
It taught me a lot. It taught me, you know, stage presence. It taught me confidence in being on that stage and being in front of people, being in front of the cameras. You know, it's lights,
Takes a
cameras,
lot.
action.
Takes
brother.
a lot, though.
Takes a lot.
That's not easy.
You know, you gotta wake up, you gotta go and do sound checks and all those things. You know, I learned that before doing my own. So now I feel like it gave me the knowledge of what we should do when we do ours.
Okay.
So, you know, it taught a lot though, but yeah, it gave me that sense of this is really it. Like this is what I do for life. This is my job. You know, it was no longer just a hobby.
True.
Yeah.
Now, when you're going back to it with your mom,
Yeah.
what's she saying to you now that you're on tours and
Yeah.
you're with some of the biggest names in music, to be honest?
Yeah, she's a crazy one. She's a crazy person, man. I love her, but she's a hard head one. Like,
Still.
yeah, she's still hard headed. You know, It'll be like, family reunions where someone in the family or a cousin will bring it up, and I'll just look at them like, yo,
chill.
because my mom will be like, kiss her teeth or
Really?
something, but like she still, she loves me. We have
Of course.
at the end of the day, but
I'm sure she sees your belief in it.
Yeah, of
and
course.
it gives her more belief.
For sure. And I think just from like a mother's, perspective, she just wants me to be safe, me to be okay. That's all it is. So I don't take it for anything. Like I've had those convos where I'm like, look, we don't got to see eye to eye, but I love you, you love me, and that's it. We can argue about this all day. It's not going to change. But I know it's still coming from a place where, you just want to see me doing good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen when you, are always in front of stardom and celebrity and fame. So, yeah, I respect it.
Yeah. And at that point, what are you learning about making money now in music? Like, what are some things maybe that you learned the hard way, or even stuff where it's like, yo, I thought this would be easier. I thought this would be harder at that point?
Oh man, don't blow the bag. Don't blow the bag, man. I feel like everyone does it though, man.
Yeah.
You get your first check and things, you blow it. It's funny though, cause I think when I got my first check, bro, I was scared. I was so scared to even spend money. I was like really scared because I was like, I don't even know what to do. I was
when's
scared.
this gonna come again?
When is this coming again?
Yeah.
You get scared, but then you're like, whatever. Let's go spend it. And it's like you earned it, so you can't really be mad at yourself for it. Everyone who's earned their first big check is gonna spend it and be like, yo, I put so much into everything I do, like I got it, So, but it's definitely, I've been teaching myself a lot more of like financial literacy and studying a lot more of that. That's actually what I've been even more in tune with starting off this year. It's it's a learning lesson,
For maybe someone watching that wants to get into music, and they think like, okay, once I hit this many streams, I'll start making this much. Or once I do like, this many shows a year, I'll do this much. What advice would you have for them?
I'll say, stay down to the come up. Keep grinding. Whatever you got going on, don't always give up, what you already have until okay, this is for sure. Like I didn't quit and like leave my job until my first check, and that's when I was like, see you guys later.
How
like,
long was that into it?
That was like probably, I think, around maybe 8 months.
Okay.
8 months or so.
So you kept it going.
Yeah, I kept it going. I was working. A lot of the big moments that happened when Old Ways came out, I was at work.
Man.
Like Chris Brown posted me on his story. I'm looking at it while like cleaning a toilet. I swear to God, bro, I was at work. A lot of shifts I would skip just to get to the studio. And yeah, I had money, but I wasn't comfortable, so once I felt like I was comfortable and I got enough money to be comfortable is when I was like, okay, let me like take full focus into it. But yeah, for anyone who's like starting off, I say, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not as in, like keep it as a plan B, but just like
be stable.
Have a stable.
Yeah.
And have that there while you're building, and then you can take that money and put it into music, because that's what I was doing. That's how I was going broke for it, is putting the money I was working for.
Yeah.
And it's gonna pay off. As long as you stay down, stay humble, and keep grinding. Yeah.
I think you said it. Stay humble, because that's just all ego.
Yeah.
Like the ego would make you quit your job like once something hits, and
for sure.
And you're like, well, yo, Chris Brown just posted me. What am I doing over here?
For sure.
Trying to make 20 an hour or some shit.
Oh, man, for sure. A lot of people, that one moment alone, they would start doing meet and greets.
It's a wrap.
Everyone meet me here, man. Yeah. Meet me here, right here. And nobody shows up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I never looked at it and was like, oh, nah, I can't work. No, I was still working. People saw me and they were like, oh, I love your music. I love your song.
Yeah.
The people I worked with saw my TikToks. They were like, yo, that's you. I just saw you yesterday.
Yeah.
Drake? Yeah. I'm like,
I think what I'm realizing from this chat is like a big reason why you got here is your mindset.
Yeah.
Like music is one thing. It's almost one half of it.
Yeah. For sure.
But your mindset, I think, is what got you here today. Because there's many people trying to make it in music.
For sure.
And there's lots of talent that'll never make it.
There's a lot of talent. Yeah.
So I think what's separated you seriously is your mindset, bro.
Yeah.
You know? But let's talk about, okay, when does Rolling Loud happen?
That was 2022.
Okay,
That was right after the song dropped. That was a couple of months.
Okay, so you did that pretty quickly after.
That was my first show ever.
That was the first show you did?
Ever.
Wow. And that was here in Toronto.
Yeah. Toronto Rolling Loud 2022. That was my first show, man.
So what was that like, getting the call for that one?
Man, that was an experience. I think, I never really thought that I'd be performing in front of that much people so early. I was just thinking, okay, my first show is probably gonna be something small, and and probably years later. But for the first show being Rolling Loud, and I went out there, man. I wasn't shy, Like I had the cold feet before getting on stage. But as soon as I got on stage, I was like, yo, this is it, But it was a moment, seeing thousands and thousands of people, and I think I performed like right before Bia and Central C.
Damn.
So like I was on stage right before.
It's a good placement for your first performance.
Yeah. So me and Preem were on stage, and that was the first performance. Preem brought me out, and that was a big moment.
Damn.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about obviously Drizzy's impact.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
You being from Toronto as well.
For sure.
When do you finally link up with him, and what's that moment like?
Man, it was, exactly how I was hoping and picturing it to be, having the respect and like, this guy, you're a guy, like you're sick, So it was definitely a moment that anyone could think of, getting praise from someone that has done it all. The biggest artist in the world,
Possibly ever,
and he came from here. And it's just, that was a moment. I think he's definitely taught me a lot too in my career, and showed love. And it was actually him that posted Old Ways first. That was the first person to post it, and it took off. And man, I remember he gave me that follow. I was like, yo, that's crazy, this is lit. I was at a camp trip.
Okay.
I was at a camp trip on a campsite with my whole family, everybody, just a bunch of people. And we posted Old Ways, and Drake followed me, and then he posted it. And then I remember Academics posted it, and my followers were just shooting up. I had like 10K by the end of that week, and I remember all of my family, they were like, let me get a shout out. I'm like, yo, I haven't even started, relax, but yeah, it was a crazy moment. But shout out Drake, man, what he's done for the city, what he's done for a lot of our artists, and just showing love, He's always showed me support, always showed me love, so.
And, I always talk to people about this, but he shows so many people love. He puts many people on.
For sure.
And he's very humble as well at the same time.
Sure,
right? A lot of people will just say, yo, he's just chill. Like he's one of the guys as well, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think he is that way? Right? What I would say is like there's the only reason and the only way you end up at the top for that long is by also being a good person.
For sure.
For
sure.
And I think he gets it. Like he's been in the position before too, like that slow burn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yo, I've been there. I know.
He
looks at you
that.
and he's like, I remember being in that position.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So why do you think he moves that way?
I think it all goes back to your roots, man. I think it all stems from, who brought you up.
Yeah.
Your humility comes from the people you were around and the people that can tell you, no, this is wrong, don't do it. If you're just around people that 24/7 just tell you yes to anything you're saying, then of course you're gonna lose that humility. But I think he's grounded. He has a bunch of people around him and family, of course, mother, father, that grew him up the right way. It all starts in the home.
True.
So you could lose yourself. You could go all different types of ways, but as long as you have those people to pull you back and remind you, like you're gonna be all right. So yeah.
Was there any advice he gave you directly about music itself?
I think one thing we did talk about one time was just like, cause I asked him, you know, I was like, do you ever? I was curious. Do you ever feel like your music isn't good? He's like, yeah, all the time, you know. And I was like, that's crazy, you know. And people don't see that side of the artist where you could doubt yourself no matter how much you've done.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at Noel. Noel's like, this guy, everything he makes is crazy.
Yeah.
And my homies are the same. It's like everything you make, it's out of here. It's viral. You know, I'm like, yo, are you guys sometimes, you know, boosting it? Like, you know, I love my own music, but sometimes you gotta accept, like, all right, this is. But that comes from also just wanting to be the best. That comes from, you know, perfectionist and just wanting to always put out something perfect.
Yeah.
And it can either harm you or do good. You know, sometimes you overthink it too much. And there's those people, again, that, like, they're like, yo, put it out.
Yeah.
You know, just put it out, put the music out, let people decide. So I think, yeah, that's one of the advices he definitely gave me. He's like, just put it out, you know, let people hear it. And, you know, even after Old Ways, there was a song I dropped called Odds on SoundCloud, and he was the one who told me to drop it.
Damn.
You know, because it had a Michael Jackson sample. And I remember texting him, I'm like, what do I do with this? You know, I think it's fire, but I can't put it anywhere. He's like, put it on SoundCloud. I was like, all right, cool. And, like, you know, friends call me now, and they're like, yo, I heard someone playing that in the car beside me. And I'm like, on SoundCloud? You know, sometimes you don't be thinking that you have, like, SoundCloud fan base, but it's still a thing. People still listen on there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, you know, some great advice he's given me for sure.
I think the people you surround yourself with is huge.
For sure.
Like, you know, and you see him with people he's been with for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So on that side, like, what have you learned about who you surround yourself with, who you trust, who you're getting advice to? Because it's probably changed too in the last 3-4 years, where you're like, shit, like, I need more people like this around me, or like this.
For sure.
About the team you're building.
No, for sure. Definitely right now it's just, my team is just a team of hustlers now, man. It's a team of people that want it, people that are, you know, stern, and, you know, they're not going to just lead me the wrong way. They're going to tell me when things are wrong.
Yeah.
And we have our arguments. We yell, you know, but it's out of love. It's like, this is, no, we all want the best. We all want, of course, the best thing, the best results, but we're going to have our debates where we can tell each other, no, this is right, no, this is wrong, this is better, you know?
Yeah.
And it's good to have that, you know, rather than pushovers. You know, a lot of the group has changed, but it's right where it needs to be. It's small, and, you know, I don't got to look too far, you know, to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I think that honesty is key, though. Like, you don't want to just be around people saying yes all day.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, it sounds good.
For sure.
You know, like, that's when you end up in bad waters, you know?
Yeah.
I think the honesty is, like, people try to shy away from it because it's tough conversations.
Oh, for sure.
They're hard.
For sure.
Right? But it helps you grow every time.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now?
Man, we got an album, you know. We got a new album, you know, called For the Girlies. I'm sure this will be out, you know, when it's out.
For
but
the girlies.
For the girlies, you know, that's what we got going on, you know. That's the KISS symbol. That's the whole brand. You know, I just wanted to really, I just feel we're in a time where, you know, the girls are winning. You know, and you know, I think the girls are winning, and you gotta cater to them, you know. So this album is gonna be for them, man. This album, you know, and what's for the ladies, the guys like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You
facts.
put out music for the girls, she's gonna play it to her boyfriend, and he's gonna be like, oh man, all right, now I gotta like this.
Of course.
'Cause they're gonna play it all the time. So, you know, I'm just catering to the girls, you know, to the ladies and all the girlies out there, you know.
Did you do anything different this album?
Yeah, a lot of difference. Production wise, sound wise, I, you know, experimented more. A lot of R&B too, some upbeat, but I think I'm giving more R&B now on this album. This is one thing I also love so much about the fact of independency is now I can have that freedom to give them as much of a certain side of my sound that I want. Because, you know, before I kind of had to go about it in a way where, okay, I know I could do it all. So I want to show them I can do it all, but because I can't put out as much as I want, I got to pack it all into one mixtape, you know, and show them I could do house, I could do everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, it leaves a lot of people that are fans of each one going, I need more of this.
True. Or they're confused. Like,
They're
what's
confused.
really
Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Are you
It's hard to
trying
tell a story with an album or a mixtape
Exactly.
like that. Yep.
So I think I'm telling more of a story now with this one. This is a storyline of, you know, where I'm at and what place I'm at right now. And I just feel like, you know, I'm in a place where, I'm R&B. It's dark. It's cold outside.
Facts.
You know, it's just, I'm
It
trying to
is
give
cold
them. I'm trying to give them what Toronto is. You know,
Yeah.
it's cold. You know, this is when you want to cuddle up. You know,
It's true.
So
Can you, if you were to explain the Toronto sound? Because people know it when they hear it, right? They're like, "Oh, that's a Toronto sound." I could picture myself driving on the 401.
Yeah,
while
Toronto
snowing.
sound is, you know, the Gardner Express. You know, seeing that CN Tower and everything, and
Yeah.
you know, it's nighttime, it's cold. Man, you're about to, you know, go grab a slice of pizza or something like,
Yeah.
you know, you with your friends. That's Toronto, man. It's cold out. That's
Yeah.
what we know. I swear, we got about like 10 months of it. Toronto be cold
supposed to
for
get
a
colder
long,
too,
yeah,
still.
it be cold for a long time.
Yeah.
When you get summer, you gotta enjoy it,
Yeah.
because we don't have it for long, you
Yeah.
know. So that's Toronto, man. You know, that dark R&B sound.
Do you think Toronto is still underrated when it comes to our artists?
Yeah, I think it's funny because for a place that has all of the biggest artists in the game, we still get overlooked.
True.
But there's a reason why they're so big, is because they had to put that much work in,
Yeah.
that much more work in to get recognition, you know? Because when you're an underdog, you got to work 10 times harder.
It's true.
So you get 10 times more the results.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what's, you know, set the barrier for Toronto, is all of those guys out there that kept pushing the narrative, and they didn't care who liked them.
Yeah.
You know, they forced it on everyone, and they made them like them. You know.
Did you ever feel like you had to leave Toronto to really get bigger? Because a lot of artists, obviously, they'll leave. They'll go to LA, obviously. You know,
Yeah,
New York.
I don't think you have to leave. I think you just it's good to leave though to get connections. It's good to see a different side of the world and see a different perspective. I was in LA a lot of the time, you know, for my last tape. And it definitely changes how you're recording. Like, you know, you're in the hills and you're talking about it. You know, the weather outside is hot, so you're talking about hot weather while back home it's cold.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it changes perspective of life. It makes you gotta travel, man. When you're an artist, a musician, you gotta travel, because it goes into your music. It goes into the story.
Of course.
So I don't think you have to completely leave the city behind, anywhere you're from, but you definitely, whether you're from Chicago, you definitely got to travel and see outside of Chicago to, you know, see that you could do other things.
It just expands your music as well.
Exactly.
Right?
You know?
You could sing about more things. Your lyrics kind of change.
Exactly.
What do you want people to feel when they hear your new album? Like, what do you want them to take from it?
You know, a new era. I think just someone that's hungry, someone that's showcasing. You know, I'm back to full control of, you know, putting out my music and telling the story. You know, I treat this every day like, you know, we've never made it. We've never done all the things that we've done and accomplished, you know, in my career. You gotta just treat it like you're still hungry, man. You know, there's so much more to go. There's levels to it. There's real levels to it, you know. So even when you get there, you still just have to be hungry. That's what I kind of want people to hear from this album, is that hunger, you know, of trying to really tell that story. So yeah.
Is there anything you wish you knew about the game you're in now before you got into it?
Man, I would say definitely just being more, I guess, confident in yourself and, you know, what you're doing, because a lot of things can shift that. A lot of people could shift that and make you feel like, you know, what you're doing isn't right. But you gotta know and believe, you know, what you're doing is gonna work.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, having more of that belief is definitely something, you know, I've learned more and more as I go, you know, having just that confidence.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna ask you to manifest something on the podcast right
let's
now.
do it.
Right? We asked our guests to manifest something you want to come to fruition
sure.
in the next 5 years,
For sure.
so that we can come back, clip it, and say, yo, he said it. It happened. So you can look in the camera, be as detailed as you can.
Yeah. Man, okay. Well, I think the first manifestation definitely is selling out an arena. You know, that feeling I get now just from seeing even, you know, 500 people in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to triple, quadruple, 30,000. You know what I'm saying? 40,000 people. I'd love to see that. You know, and just see everyone singing my songs word for word.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be the best feeling you could get as an artist, honestly. So, yeah, that's where I manifest. You know, maybe hopefully doing my own wireless, you know, like Drizzy did just now. So, yeah.
Is there a certain arena you want to sell out?
Trying
to get you to get as detailed
I
as you
feel
can,
like, you know, I might as well just sell out Scotiabank Arena.
There we go.
Yeah, it's got to be home.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be home. I think home matters the most. So it should be the first place I sell out. You know, then we could go to the Garden.
For sure.
You
You
go
got
anywhere
this,
else,
though.
yeah.
Anything else you want to manifest, maybe in your personal life or?
Yeah, you know, still, I guess, health and wealth, you know, in all aspects, all areas. Everyone good, everyone, you know, taken care of, everyone in a great place. And, yeah, you know, other than that, can't really think of too much things.
You want to have a family of your own?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course. You know,
Kids,
I think everyone should, you know,
Yeah.
desire to build, you know, a foundation, you know, and that my kids could come to my shows while I'm still 35, you know what
You
I'm
see
saying?
wilding on stage.
Exactly. And they're like, okay, sick, you know? Yeah, definitely. For sure.
And our final question:
Yes.
Does money buy happiness?
You know what? It can. I don't think it's the root to happiness. I think you can buy it for a time period. You know, don't let nobody with money tell you that, you know, it can't buy happiness, because yes, it can. You know, you can get some happy moments from having money, but don't rely on money to give you that happiness. You know, but it's definitely better than being broke. You know, if you broke straight up and you down, you can't be like, all right, I just want to get up out of here. Let me go to a different country and go rent a yacht.
Facts.
You can do that if you got money, you know. So you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have happiness from maybe that time period, but it doesn't fulfill you. So don't let money fulfill you. But yeah, money buys happiness, I guess, for sure.
I think, you know, for me, I always say it amplifies the person that you are.
Exactly.
You know, like if you're broke but you're an asshole, you'll be a rich asshole.
You'll be a rich asshole. You'll be an even
but
bigger asshole.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're rich, real
just
talk.
right? Just an asshole with more money, and
Yeah.
it goes both ways, though. If you're
Yeah.
a good person and you're broke, you get some money, you're gonna be doing some good things with it.
For sure.
You know.
So yeah, definitely it's not the root to it, but yeah, like you said, it just amplifies who you are. So that's you know, my answer to that.
I appreciate your time, bro.
Of course,
Keep
man.
killing it, brother.
Yes, thank you for having me,
I'm rooting
brother.
for you, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This was amazing, bro.
Sick.
Yeah.
Boys.
All right.